And I'm so proud of myself. Like, I literally went to a different country. I literally went to 2 different places by myself, navigated. Hey travelers, welcome to Tripping with Amadi. If you're new to my channel, I revisit some of my fun and exciting times during my travel while I help you out on yours. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about my experience traveling as a solo female for the first time. And also, I want you to stay tuned at the end of the video because I'm going to give you some tips on what I learned personally from my first solo trip. If you guys are new to my channel, then you do not know that I have recently started this channel and I am a baby traveler. I have officially traveled to 10 countries and Mexico was the first time that I traveled by myself. So basically this video is just going to be a recount of the feelings of being a solo female traveler, how that made me feel, and some tips and some tricks that I gathered through my experience and just traveling as a female in general. My experience overall was really amazing and really great. I like the fact that I was able to test my own pulse and feel what I wanted to do. Granted, I did have an itinerary. I stuck to that itinerary pretty closely, and I'm also thinking about like making a video about how to create an itinerary. So if you're interested in that, like this video and comment below so I know that that's a good way to go and I can make that video for you all. But I just like the fact of if I wanted to take a nap, I could take a nap. If I wanted to, you know, switch the schedule a little bit, I could switch the schedule a little bit and not have to adhere to anybody. Some cons to that were that sometimes it did get a little bit lonely, or because I'm used to traveling with other people, I would like run into something or do something and I would be like, oh, this such and such would enjoy doing this with me. But I don't know if it was just like the first solo trip, I guess, like blues or whatever. So I don't know how often that kind of feel or vibe comes. You can put it below in the chat, like how did you handle pure times when you were like alone, where you weren't doing anything, you kind of like were settling down for the day. Like, did you feel like, oh, this would be a nice time for this person to be interacting with me, or were you constantly like on the go? Because I did find that I knew and I expected that there were going to be downtimes, but I found the downtimes to really be like downtimes. Another thing that was really great is that I strategically went to a place where it was like easy to travel and had a lot of touristic things to do. Because I went to Mexico City and Tulum. I knew that there was some form of infrastructure for tourism, so I could easily get around, because I was a little bit nervous in terms of like, how was I going to be able to get around or problem solve without like, you know, putting 2 heads together and figuring those things out, because every time I've traveled before, like I had someone to like bounce that idea off of, and instead of that, it was just me. And on top of that, it was COVID. So we're still experiencing COVID, you know, so there were certain little things that I had to endure. One thing that was a little bit difficult was when I was going to Tulum and coming from Mexico City, and my Spanish is not that accurate, not that fluent. I know a good amount of words, but I definitely had my Google Translate by my side during that whole experience, because basically I had to sign up for a health pass to get through security, and I didn't know that. And for some reason, when I was trying to pull it up on my phone, it wasn't quite working. So it wasn't the fact that I didn't have data or I didn't have Wi-Fi, it just wouldn't load on my phone and I couldn't use a kiosk or anything. So that was like really annoying. So but just going through those kind of things, it's just like, oh, if you had someone there, it might have been a little bit easy in terms of support. But overall, like now I'm like thinking about it and reflecting on it and processing it, and I'm so proud of myself. Like I literally went to a different country. I literally went to 2 different places by myself, navigated, had fun, got to see a wonder of the world. If you're interested in my Mexico vlog, I'll put that card up right now. So I was just really, really proud of myself that I was able to do it, and it gives me like kind of that battery pack of like, girl, you can do this again. Like, it's okay, like you can get that going. So that definitely was kind of the vibe that I left off on. Okay guys, so I want to leave you off with some tips that I kind of gathered as I did my first solo trip. So the first one I would say is create an itinerary. Once again, I probably will make a video of how to create an itinerary. So like that button if you want me to do that. And basically, the purpose for this itinerary is to keep you organized, right? Awesome. But also so your family and friends know what you're doing. So if there's any form of miscommunication or they can't get a hold of you, they can simply go to the itinerary that you shared, whether it's like a Google Drive or a Microsoft document and an Excel document. So they'll be like, well, Amadi was here doing this at this time during this day, and I haven't heard from her, so this is where I know that she's going to be. So it's very helpful to do that. The next thing I would say is book excursions. So you are traveling alone, so one, excursions are really helpful for you just to get around and be in areas that might be just a little bit difficult if you are traveling by yourself, but also for you to meet new people and interesting people. So I would definitely say do an excursion. When I did my excursions, I met people from California, I met people from Italy, I met people from India, so it was really cool. And I actually met someone who was actually traveling solo too, and we exchanged Instagram, so that was really cool as well. So I definitely would say do excursions, at least one or two, so it is easy transportation, meet new people and meet other travelers, and you never know, you might hang out with them later on. And the last thing I would say is, especially if you are going outside of the country and you don't speak the language, do stay at resorts, or, because I'm not a resort fan, or a boutique hotel or an Airbnb that has a really responsive guest. I say all of this to say is, especially in the time of COVID, you want to know what your resources are around the area that you're staying with, and you want to have a person of contact, or rather a point person to talk to if you have any questions, because once again, you can't bounce those ideas off of your friend. So what happens if you need to find the nearest place to take a COVID test? What happens if you need to find a garage to fix your car because you drove from Cancun to Tulum? Those little questions, yes, you can find them online, but at the same time, online can only go but so far, especially in a country that you're not familiar with. Having someone like a visitor section at a resort, or once again, I don't do a lot of resorts, or going to a boutique hotel that has a concierge service, or a concierge desk, or a responsive Airbnb host, just someone that you can communicate and contact if you have any questions about the whereabouts of things or resources within the area that you're staying in. So hopefully this video was helpful. Hopefully you enjoyed my little tidbits of my experience while I was traveling. Please comment below if you have some tips that I missed about how it is to just be traveling solo as a female, as just a solo traveler, or just someone who goes out of the country very often. These tips sometimes might be different, or sometimes might merge a little bit. So let me know, and always stay safe when you're traveling. Bye you all.